Okay, never mind. I don't know where Jana is. Okay, we will get started. The three of you first. Let me share my screen on what we're going to do today. Adira, how's the homework from last week? All okay? You add in the vocabulary, all okay, right? Okay, nice. Okay, so just a minute. Oh. Okay, on my screen is all up and about. Okay, so guys, today, right, for the lesson, we're going to look at the mock paper for PSLE. Okay, so we will look at part 1 and part 2. I mean, both paper 1 and paper 2, but not the entirety of paper 2 because we will not have the time. So we will look at paper 1 first. So let's start now. Jana, please just leave your camera on and facing you, yeah? Okay, let me start. So today we're going to cover this, paper 1 and paper 2, grammar and vocab MCQ components. But for paper 1, we're going to cover both, the situational writing and composition. Okay, so this one we already covered in all our previous lessons so far on paper 1 and paper 2. So let's just do the practice and see how things are for you. Okay, so let's start with the first one would be, okay, we'll cover situational writing, and then composition, grammar, and vocab. So 4 things to cover today. Okay, right, let's start. Okay, so let's start with the first one for situational writing, the formal letter. We have different types, right? But we'll start with formal letter first. Okay, let's look. Now, this one we've covered in our previous lessons. I think those of you who are around would know what it's about. So when we do situational writing, you need to read the question first. Always ask yourself, what is the PAT? Always ask yourself that, and you know, go and annotate somewhere what is the purpose, audience, and tone that is needed for this particular question. Always do this. Whenever you get your situational writing paper, you go and do yourself PAT, what they want. Then you read the bullet points, what information is the question asking for, then you go and answer them. Okay, and then this is what I recommend. So when you read the bullet points, you go and quickly give short answers. So in bullet points also, short answers as well. Okay, after you read through the situational text, by the way, okay, then match the details as to the points in the situational text. So always do that planning in your paper. Okay, so yeah, here again we just repeat what is the PAC or PAT. Okay, purpose, why am I writing this? Okay, maybe you want to inform. Usually you use a verb. What is the verb? Is it to inform? Is it to report? What is it for? Okay, so to promote maybe. So just ask yourself, why are you writing this? Use the verb there. Who am I writing to? Usually we write this to probably teacher or friends. Okay, or maybe some relative overseas. Okay, and then what is the situation? Is it formal or informal? You got to ask yourself these two first, formal or informal. Okay, so next. Okay, audience, usually to authority, like what I said, HOD or organization, or maybe even teachers, usually we write for that. And then it's, if it's to authority, of course, you use a formal tone, and contractions cannot be used. So basically, no apostrophe s, etc. Avoid, usually to provide information about a situation. So this is a purpose, the verb, provide information, complain, propose, inform, etc. So this is the verbs I mentioned. 1, 2, 3, or even more. Avoid lengthy elaboration. Yeah. So this is because, don't say that. Just keep it simple. Okay, for the purpose, keep it simple. Okay, next. So this is an example format of a letter here, formal writing. So dear whoever, so do not need to ask after them. Just write, don't say how have you been. That one is informal. You don't have to write that for formal. Answer the points that have been raised in this question. Take note of the tone. Body paragraph 1, body paragraph 2, and then conclusion. Sometimes we reiterate the purpose. Reiterate purpose in the conclusion. Okay. So this is an example of formal writing. Okay, this is the format for email. Email, you need to from, subject, introduction, body paragraph 1, body paragraph 2, conclusion. Yeah, so just keep your subject simple as well. Short and simple. Okay, this is what I would recommend, just short and simple. So I am writing this to propose, or what I am writing this email, I'm writing this letter to what. So yes, use the verbs there as well. And then what if you want to suggest, use I would like to suggest something here. And then conclusion, always have this be very polite. I appreciate the time taken to read this letter or to read this proposal and hope that some of these ideas are being considered. So you sign off. Okay, so this will be the example for email. Okay, so far we've really covered letter and email. So I'm just revising the formats with you guys, yeah, because I know holidays, sometimes we forget what we need to do in school. Okay, now let's practice. Now it's our time to practice. Give me a second. Okay, here. So the picture here shows Jeremy and his mother having dinner at 880 restaurant. Study the conversation. So here they say, Jeremy, I think John, the waiter who served us, is wonderful. He serves every customer with genuine warmth and enthusiasm. This is the conversation that they had after they had dinner at 880 restaurant. And then, so the food served here is as good as the service. We should definitely tell our friends and relatives about it, shouldn't we? And then Jeremy's mentioned, John seems very thoughtful too. I saw that customer struggling to eat with his chopsticks. John promptly brought him a fork without being asked. He looked relieved and thanked John profusely. So he's very attentive to details. Okay, so then he said, yes, we should. I'll also write to the manager tomorrow to let him know how pleased we are. So if you see something nice also, you can just let them know. So they'll be happy about it as well. So now you've got to imagine that you're a Jeremy. Then you got to write an email to the manager of 880 restaurant. So this is what you're writing. Who is the manager, to give him some feedback. So basically, use feedback can also be positive here. So you refer to the information here for the email. The date and time you were at the restaurant. Date, time. Name of the employee. 2 things the employee did well. How the customer responded to the employee's reactions. Okay, so hang on, yeah. So this was the conversation. Okay. And right now, I would need you to fill in these 4 boxes here. 1, 2, 3, 4, based on this conversation here in the chat. So can you put like 1, the date and time you were at the restaurant? So you just put that. 2, 3, 4. This is what I meant by writing in the bullet point answers. So can you all take about 5 minutes to type in your answer for this in the group chat? Sorry, in the chat box here. Adira, Kevin, Jana, are you all clear on what you need to do now? Yes, right? Okay, so type in the chat. Now it's 109, so by 114 each, 115 should be, I will check your answers in the chat. Okay, guys, I just want to check how much time do you think you need to type in the rest of the questions?
1 minute.
Kevin, Jana? Okay, all right. So Jana's answered. Kevin, maybe 1 more minute as well?
Yes.
Okay. Jana, okay, I've seen your answer so far. Okay, good one. So this is what I meant even for your exams. Just write in bullet points like this. Let's just give Adira and Kevin another minute. Okay, Adira's answer is in also. All good. Well done, girls. Just wait for Kevin, yeah. For his good survive. Good survive means what? Good service. Okay, I think there's a spelling error there. Okay. Okay, all right, so far okay, so far so good. Okay, guys, well done on this part here. Okay, so I think now you know what you need to do, even for your situational writing in school. Once you get the question, you see the bullet points, you just answer this way. All okay, right, so far? Okay, let's continue. Let's look at some examples. Okay, when you write, of course, you need to write the introduction, main body paragraph 1, main body paragraph 2, paragraph 3, conclusion. I've already mentioned before, always reiterate the purpose. So reiterate the purpose. Additional pointers like what you wish to achieve, your hopes, etc. Okay, next. So this is an example of the email here. So to from subject, it's an example. So just take note of the format. Okay, so dear manager, on 8 February at around 6 p.m. I had the pleasure of dining at 880 restaurant. See, you like it was so polite. I had the pleasure of dining. So it's like wow, so polite. I mean, that's a very courteous actually when you write it that way. Also be careful of your punctuations. Then for the paragraph 1, I'm writing this email to relate my enjoyable experience. So why you write? So this is the purpose. And to commend a particular employee. So another purpose as well, for his excellent service. Can you just look at how they actually phrase the introduction? Can you just try to remember that, especially on the use of verbs, etc. Okay, next. John was the waiter who served my mother and I with exceptional friendliness and an ever-ready smile. Wow, this one kind, I'm telling you, is that wow, is confirmed an A-star kind of a sentence. He also displayed, you don't say the word show, they use the synonyms. They didn't use the word show, they use the word display. His helpfulness and excellent observation skills. Nice. By providing a fork for another customer who was struggling with his chopsticks, comma, again, without being asked. Okay, so take a look at how they're actually phrasing the sentences here. Next, this customer was notably relieved, obviously, relieved and thankful. In addition, so use the linkers nicely. So the great service, the food at 880 restaurant was also delicious. So they actually give you an additional point there. And then conclusion, my mother and I had a splendid time and we will definitely bring my father along the next time we dine there. Yours sincerely, Jeremy. Okay, so basically like what you want to do next. Okay, so this is an example of the writing, which you all can just take note of some of the phrases that are it's actually quite well to be, applied there. All okay with this situational writing on formal letter. Remember the format and all. Okay, yeah. So this one is done. Next, we will look at this part here. Compo. Okay, so again, some of the tips that we've mentioned, got to read the topic. What are they asking you to write about? Look at the pictures. Can you think of a storyline that links at least 2 pictures? So some students, they like just choose one. So if you can think of a storyline that can link 2 pictures, even better. Think of vocab words that can help to improve the quality of your composition. So this mentioned already, we already have a vocab list that you guys are now adding. For Kevin and Jana, if you're not, because you're first time, right? So we have a vocabulary list that students update every single week in the portal. So that's how we can keep using that words. Okay, we will apply those words as well. We will try to maintain this till your PSLE. Okay, so make sure that your composition is fully relevant. It should be based on the topic, on the pictures, and address the bulleted points. So do not go out of context. So don't go out of context. Okay, happens a lot. Some students, they just get